I am Mike, and I'm live.
And we are not live, but we kind of are. There we go. We are live with a very loud beeping. Oh my god, Mike, your car. God, why did this happen when we went live, Mike?
Alright, there we go. Car's on.
He's just stealing a car in the meantime.
Yeah, the car alarm starts going off. Oh, Faye, by the way, you missed the discussion about your doorbell being a repurposed air raid siren.
It is.
Well, welcome
It is.
everyone to Sinkers of Sarmanath.
We are right on time.
We are right on an hour late. Oh, no, we're 45 minutes late, like on the button. But you know, we've got a Mike remoting in on his quest to receive diapers. We have everybody here. We're ready to play some D&D. Apologies for being late, and apologies for blaring "Bless This Acid House" for a while. I didn't realize my music was live in the stream. Anyway. We'll see if the VOD survives. We don't know. So, let's have a quick get-together here. We've been powwowing for a while as we've been waiting for people to arrive, but the chat hasn't had a chance to catch up with us. So, what have you guys been up to for the last week or so? What's new with you?
Who are we starting with? You gotta conduct this, Greg.
We'll start with you since you opened your mouth. You volunteered, Sean. You volunteered to talk about your life.
Been busy. I went to a career fair Tuesday. I heard back from one place, but that interview didn't go too well. So I think it's back to applying for jobs.
For us foreigners, what is a career fair?
So if you're in college, recruiters will come to your college and be like, "We're looking to hire lots of people. Do you have the kind of skills that we're looking for?" It's basically like it probably has higher returns than like just applying for jobs online is the big thing.
Okay, so they're just like, we want cheap labor and you guys don't have any money. So
No, because, well, a little bit, but it's more like they're...
It's more like if you were... Go ahead, sorry.
In tech, it's more like we're looking to hire lots of junior developers, and by definition of being recently graduated college students, you are all fit to be junior developers.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it kind of depends. A lot of startups show up. They're like, we're hiring hundreds of new people, so we're here to interview you. That's a lot of that. So I did a lot of prep for that. My resume has never looked nicer. Yeah, I finally got some new headphones, and I have no idea how I lived before I bought these things. Because like I don't spend time in my room anymore.
I can mute.
I can attempt to.
I'll mute you, I guess.
You're muted, Greg. There we go.
This is wonderful.
All right, we're good. Continue.
Oh, I don't know how I lived before I got these headphones, because I don't spend time in my room anymore, because I'm always like going around working on shit, because I also got a sort of job to develop a website for our tech department. So now I wear these whenever I go out, and it's life-changing.
Why did the tech department need help developing a website? Aren't
Because
they the
they're
tech
understaffed, and because they don't have to pay us like a full salary.
I told you, cheap labor, and everybody's like, no. It's definitely a cheap labor scheme. I love it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's more like because it's a resume builder for us, right? Like for them, they'd have to pay like full-time employees, whereas they can be like, we could just have students do this, pay them like a fraction of the amount, and they're happy to do it because it looks good on their resume.
You're right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So why did your interview not go well?
It just like it was a hard interview. Like he was asking me a lot of very specific questions about like language features of C++, and I did okay with that. But then like he asked me a question like, what is dynamic binding? And I was like, I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just one of those things. Like it was a hard technical interview.
Awesome.
Hopefully that's been me. Lots of work.
Hopefully you get a sweet new job and can pay all your student loans back. So we'll go up away from you, Millman. What have you been? How's your week been treating you?
My week's been great. I got sent to a new store in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. And if you don't know what that means, it means the street lights stop and you drive in darkness for a bit till you get to...
I love that.
It's terrifying in Australia, all right?
Right? No, it's great. It's like you feel like your life flashing before your eyes, and it's just so exciting.
I'm terrified. I'm driving down this highway. It's pitch black. I'm like, if my car stops for some reason, which it had a water leak and I didn't know, and it was starting the temperature gauge climb. I was like, I'm just gonna be dead. I'm gonna message my family, tell them I love them, and then just disappear into the night. I got a new store, and since I don't know their routine, they've just been like, you do ovens. As a baker, you just pull ovens. Everybody knows how to pull ovens. And I'm like, hell yeah, like this is an easy job. So I've been just taking it easy and learning their routine, which is so janky. Like,
I hate working with new people. It's the worst.
I feel like that's how they feel about me, because they're like, can you make all these lines? I'm like, do we even make those lines anymore? I thought they deleted them years ago. They're like, no, we still have them, just other stores don't make them. So I had to make 1 or 2 of everything. And if you know big companies, they make a lot of fucking products that they just don't feel like making, so they never make them. I had to make like 300 different pastry lines, 1 of each. It's not like you're making a bunch, it's just like 1 or 2 of each for a packet. And I'm like, this was a waste of my whole day. And nobody buys them, they just get thrown out, right? I'm like, why did I waste this time? They're like, oh, I don't know, that's just what the boss wants.
Fun. Sounds like
that sounds
like
American.
a really productive day.
Yeah,
Yeah, right? And then I come home and play video games, but I broke the gaming rig and then fixed the gaming rig, and then it just randomly turned off before stream, so let's hope it doesn't turn off again. Thank God. Thank God I'm running 2 computers to do anything.
I haven't played a game since mid-September, and I'm missing that life.
Yeah.
How are you alive? I would have died by now.
As it turns out, you adapt pretty well when you just have like a non-stop stream of work to go through.
Yeah.
No, time slips by, and then I'm like, am I dead now? Is this what
Is this purgatory? Alrighty. Well, hopefully you get acquainted with your new job quickly and can get some better baking going on, I guess. Get some more productive baking. Dan, what have you been up to for last week, man?
I don't know. Not much. Watching sports. Basketball's coming back.
Yeah.
College football's going on. NFL's going on.
Did you see my boy Brogdon drop 14 dimes last night?
Yeah, it did. 15 and 14.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, I like that Brogdon kid. I know that maybe you pay Russell the max and you don't pay him, but I like him. I'm high.
I like him. I feel like losing Bogdanovich is a big loss for them now.
I think TJ Warren's going to be a big get for them. I think TJ Warren gives them almost everything Bogdanovich did.
Fair. I agree.
Yeah. I'm high on the Pacers this year. If they get Oladipo back, I'm in. I'm going to hammer that up Vegas if I can. All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, sports update with Dan and Greg. I dominated that one. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Yo, do you know what's really pissing me off, which I never realized I cared about until this year when I bought the Sunday ticket, is all of the NFL games are in the morning. Mm-hmm. Like, tomorrow, there's 9 NFL games at the 1 o'clock time window, and there's 2 in the afternoon. Like, are you shitting me? Like, I can't even play catch-up on those games, man.
The NFL Sunday ticket is the biggest, is the most worthless thing to buy. It sucks. It's a piece of shit. You don't get the Thursday night game. You don't get the Monday night game. You don't get the Sunday night game. You don't get the 4 games that are televised. You get 7 games.
To be fair, there's only 3 games televised a week.
It's 3 games.
Yeah.
It's 2, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 other one.
You want to know the weirdest thing about the Thursday night game this year? You can watch it if you've got Amazon Prime.
It was on Fox this week. I don't know.
It was on Fox this week.
It was on Amazon Prime as well. Cass and I watched it, even though we don't actually have a TV. We have Amazon Prime, so we just watched the football game. I'm like, this is weird as fuck. Usually the NFL network games are like exclusive to NFL because they want you to pay their subscription.
Oh, they're branching out, man. Getting that Amazon money. So, Mike, while you're in that underwater aquarium or wherever you are, how was your week, man?
Man, I wish we were still in the underwater city. This would have been a great effect. Yeah. I'm on my way to a neighboring city to pick up diapers for my child. Some lady's giving away an almost full box of size 2 diapers for free. That's about 40 quid, something like that. I don't know how big the box is, but usually a box of diapers is like $40 because there's like 200 diapers in there. And having not worked for 2 months because I was on paternity leave, I'm broke as all hell. So a box of free diapers is a necessary expense. or non-expense. in case
All right. Well,
Yeah, but
Wow.
I will remute so that we're not all subjected to my
hashtag diaper
voices.
life. Yeah, that. Thank you. That Mike. Whew, that is a rough one, my dude. But we
mean, I could
appreciate you
switch
stopping
to my-
by.
I could switch to the phone speakerphone, but I don't know if that would be better or worse.
I have no idea. I do appreciate the underwater quality of it, but you get those diapers, man. That's important. Hashtag diaper life.
I think in America that they don't pay you for like different kinds of leave. Oh, my brain hurts. just
Well, you
thinking
do
about
get paid. You just only get paid for like a few days, and if you take any more than that, it's on you.
it. In Australia, you get weeks off.
Yeah.
No, you get paid if you have a real job, but Mike is basically an independent contractor for a restaurant, and
Okay, that makes sense.
I do not get paid paternity leave.
Very few places I know of pay
Rip.
paternity leave. Maternity leave, yes. Paternity leave, not so much. Faye,
America.
how are you? How's your week been? How's that pizza?
Hello.
It looks delicious.
I was gonna ask about that.
Did we lead you astray on the size of your pizza?
No, absolutely not. Like it's the perfect size. It's
I like hearing that.
it's it's from my favorite pizza place. So I needed to treat myself today because yesterday I locked myself out of my apartment. When it was 13 degrees Celsius, you can calculate that if you're American, figure it out. 13 degrees Celsius and pouring down, and I needed to go to uni to hand in a really important document. And I closed the door behind myself, and I was wearing my new backpack, which didn't have my keys in them. And I live in a place where you walk through the garden and then through a second door, and I did not have the keys for the second door, so I didn't only just lock myself out, I also locked myself in at the same time, right? So I was stuck in my garden while it was raining, and there was nobody nearby. Like, the only people who have a second key to my apartment are my parents, and they're on vacation. Okay? So I was sitting outside waiting for what felt like 2 hours until my neighbor came into her garden. I heard a rumble, and I was like yelling across the wall, and I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I climb the wall over to your side and you let me out through your door?" Right? Because she has the key to go inside of her. She was like, "Yeah, sure, I don't mind." So I was climbing that wet garden wall in all my gear with a giant backpack that had my valuable laptop in it, made it out, then finally traveled to uni, made the train just in time, then the bus was cancelled, and I missed the deadline to hand in the document by 5 minutes.
No.
By 5 minutes? They didn't even
By
give you
5
5 minutes?
No, I missed it by 5 minutes.
Oh, that's killer.
Then I turned around, took the train back, called my sister, and I was like, "Hey, do you have the keys for mom's and dad's apartment so I can get in and get my keys because they're on vacation, yada yada." And she's like, "No, I handed them all back in last year. I don't have them." I'm like, "Why do you not have keys to your own parents' apartment?" She's like, "Oh, I don't need them." I'm like, "Great." So then it turns out that my mom's best friend has keys to her apartment, so I need to go there. But she's also from the Philippines, and she values it if you spend time there. So she's going to cook a full course meal for you if you come in, right? You're going to get the tea, you're going to get the slippers, you're going to spend at least 2 hours there, you're going to have a nice conversation, and she won't let you leave without having had food, right? So I go
That's
through
really
this.
true. That's
Yes.
really true.
Laugh heart is so warmed right now. I was like, that's my family right there. You go visit your grandmother, there's 4 hours of your life. You have to have coffee.
You can't. She's going to be so deadly insulted if I just leave. So I'm staying there for 2 hours. Get the key to my parents' apartment. Still don't know if my keys are actually there. Travel to that apartment. Find the keys. Make it back to mine. I have to make like a lockpick check to wiggle my key out of my door because it's stuck inside of my door, right? So I had to wiggle that out, get the other key in, and finally made it back in. That was
Oh
my
my
day
goodness.
yesterday.
What an adventure.
Write that down. We're going to sell that shit.
So I ordered the biggest pizza today because I goddamn deserve it. Nobody
And-
can stop me.
Absolutely, you do. Enjoy that pizza. I do want to know, what toppings did you get? I'm really...
Flex your pizza. Flex your pizza.
Hold on. Well, I'm just going to drop it on my keyboard. You know me, man.
I do. But I need to see
So
that.
it says pizza on the packaging.
Nice.
I'm not gonna tap on it. This is not an ASMR video, but
I'm not gonna tap on it. Looks like we got some pepperoni. Looks like
pepperoni.
Pepperoni, mushroom.
Mushroom.
cheese,
That's what
and
those
ham.
are. All right.
Yes.
All right. I dig it. I can get on that. All right.
There you go.
Well, thank you for the amazing story and the pizza update. We
You're welcome.
live vicariously through your pizza for the next 3 hours.
Oh man, the
All
only time
right.
I've ever like locked myself out of my building was when it was snowing here,
Yeah.
and it was like about 0 degrees Fahrenheit, which is negative something Celsius. I don't know. Yeah, and I was just like, it was like 2 a.m, and I was like, maybe I'll just freeze to death out here.
Yep. You're just like, this is how it ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous.
I died because I forgot the card to my building.
I locked myself out of my apartment in school once, and I had given a spare key to my best friend who lived a couple blocks away. And I was like, okay, well, my landlord has keys, my friend Mitchell has keys, like, it should be fine. Locked myself out of my apartment accidentally. Mitchell has gone home for Christmas break. He's not in town anymore. I call my landlord. I'm like, hey, Andy, I locked myself out of my apartment, and my friend that has a spare to my apartment is out of town. Can you come let me in? And he's like, really? I'm at the coast right now. So he's like 2.5, 3 hours away. It's December, so it's not crazy cold, but it's definitely not warm, and I don't want to spend 3 hours locked out of my apartment. And then he goes, you usually leave that fan kind of going in your window most of the time, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's in there. And he goes, all right, don't tell anybody this, but the screens are really easy to pop out. Like, you should be able to just like crawl in that window. So I attempt this, right? The screen literally, it pops straight out of the window. I hop up through it. It takes me less than 30 seconds to remove the screen, crawl in through my window, get into my apartment, and put the screen back in place. And I'm like, I'm not leaving my window open when I'm gone anymore. That was alarmingly easy.
Wow.
I'm gonna come back, and I am gonna have been robbed blind, and nobody's gonna know anything. This is the same apartment complex that my car got stolen from once. So, like,
Yikes.
yeah,
Yikes.
it was good times. Locking yourself out of your apartment is always a good story.
Well, I'm glad that none of you froze to death and you are here to play D&D with us today. So, last session we concluded the party had gathered themselves up in the small city of Balesport on the coast. And began traveling their way up the cold water, using the teleportation scrolls that they had unearthed from the sunken city of Raekwon. Along the way, they met a very interesting fellow by the name of Quartz, who was seemingly wandering alone sometime outside of Coldwater. He has strange growths on his skin, and largely seems to have a good heart, keeps to himself. The party has adopted him for the time being until they can find a responsible adult to take care of him, judging that they themselves were not responsible enough for this task. And
Probably accurately.
Probably accurately so, yes. After visiting the small tribe of Spriggans in the Lake of Coldwater, the party quickly decided this was not all it was cracked up to be, and left after some very long and interesting conversations. Upon leaving, they noticed a new red star hung in the skies above them. Quartz immediately recognized this as a sign of woe, and is quite disturbed by the meanings of his training in astrology and fortune-telling. The party decided that they needed to get back to Sarmanath as quickly as possible, and so once again returned to the teleportation circle, using another scroll, and returning to their home base in Sarmanath. At the tower, they met with the dragon of Sarmanath himself, Brand, and gave a nice recounting of their adventures in Raekwon, of the Philosopher's Stone, and of their scrolls that they found, making a deal to acquire a little bit more wealth, so that the Tower of Sarmanath could copy these scrolls, and learning a little bit about the mysterious scroll to a place called Graves Keep that they could not see on the map. After some debate and some looking at the stars, seeing that the red star was still there and still giving a sign of woe, the party did decide to examine the case of the missing friend Algernon, examining his room and finding some journals indicating his search for an alchemical formula to heal his sister, and the knowledge that he has gone far north beyond the Elvendar forest in search of the Scrivener's Tower. The party decided that this was the avenue they wanted to approach, and we will pick up with the party. Leaving Sarmanath, you have traveled about a day's north around this large lake next to Sarmanath. We'll show the stream, kind of the map that we're looking at here. In the north of Sarmanath, there is a kind of large river that is connected to a lake where much of the fishing and eating happens. Here you find a number of small towns dying the side of the road. Over the 2 nights journey that you take to a small fishing village on the outside, you notice that the star in the sky is quite bright and doesn't seem to ever fade. Even when clouds roll through, you still can see it up there, its dim red glow and ominous portent in the night sky. Each night you are visited by dreams, all of them somewhat sinister in nature. All of them, you feel a presence in them, very similar to that of your friend Tom. All of them revolving around this lady, encircled, encased in the burning blue sphere of fire somewhere in the woods. As you reach the fishing village, you attempt to get a nice boat to sail away up north beyond the Elvendar. You find that many of the people along the Moonflow do not sail up north there. Many of them cross it using these large beasts, a size of mammoths or elephants with large flat backs that they ride across the Moonflow itself. But you do track down a ship captained by a young lady with many piercings and tattoos across her face, who calls it the Zephyr's Wind. She promises that for a price of 100 gold, she will ferry the 5 of you and your belongings up past the Elvendar, though she warns that the travel will take probably 3 days to reach the heart to reach beyond the heart of the Elvendar, as the river does flow slow this time of year. Without great winds, it would be difficult to make too much time.
Shit, I missed some awesome epic adventure. I'm so disappointed in myself right now. Anyway, I love the recap.
Thank you. So, the 5 of you find yourself in a small fishing village outside of Sarmanath. You have negotiated passage with the Zephyr's Wind. Was there any preparation that you would like to do before heading on your long journey across the Moonflow?
Is there somewhere I can get rid of this large pearl that I've got strapped to my back still?
Did you not sell that already?
No, I still got it.
I thought you sold that in Balesport.
No, he tried to offer it to the collector, but the collector was like, I'm not interested in this.
Okay. Fair enough. You're in a small fishing village. It probably would have been a better choice to sell it in Sarmanath proper. But here, there are plenty of stalls and plenty of merchants, and there is some sale trade that comes up and down the Moonflow across various sides of it. Go ahead and give me a charisma check to determine how good you do at going into each of these stalls and finding a merchant who will take your pearl from you.
Are we selling the giant pearl?
Yes.
And I rolled really poorly.
All right.
I'm sad that we're selling the pearl. I understand, but I'm sad. Also, Greg, just for the record, while we're like kind of doing things pre-adventure, Gorik will attune to the Philosopher's Stone.
Okay, yes. Over the time of your journey to the village, Gorik, you begin attuning to the Philosopher's Stone. You spend each night with it, focusing on it, and as you do so, the warmth pulsing from the center of the stone becomes something that affixes itself into your mind, and you are pretty certain that you learn the inner workings of the stone, and with the right combination of words and training, you can unlock the numerous things that it can do, and I will pull those up and send them to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't tell them to me because I can't write them down right now,
Right.
and there is a 0% chance that I remember.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I will pull them up and kind of have them at hand for you. But yes, the basic premise here is that any material component at all related to your spells can be consumed by the stone instead, taking charges away from the stone so that you don't have to have it. It's the non-equivalent exchange property of it. There are also, you see, many different spells and effects that you could summon from the stone itself, including magical spells that you can cast, the transmutation of physical objects, and the ability to empower the stone itself. You begin playing with and experimenting with the stone, and you're close to unlocking its full potential once you pick up some diapers and make it back. Hugh, you roll charisma in this small village town, and you walk in selling this large story of the giant pearl that you got from a clam that laughed in a city sunken underneath the water in a far-off place called Raekwon. The merchants kind of look at you sideways. I don't know about this. Seems quite fanciful. I'm sure this pearl must be faked or counterfeit in some way. Shop after shop, you find it very difficult to get a price. Eventually, you find a merchant who, despite your tall tale, seems to think that there's profit to be made off the size of this pearl. It looks too nice, too big and shiny to be complete fake, or to be completely worthless even if it is a fake. And he eyes you up and down and says, "Well, Mr. Hugh, I suppose I could take this off your hands. I have 150 gold lying around. I could scrounge up. Would that do for your large pearl there?"
I'm standing there with this big fuck off pearl, and I'm like, I'll take it. I've had enough of carrying it.
Excellent, excellent. I see that you are a wise bargainer. And he pulls out a chest and begins to count out some gold. He reaches behind him, muddles through some nets and some fishing bait, pulls out a small bag, counts out a few more, eventually coming up to a sum of 150 gold, which he will gladly hand over for your massive pearl.
Awesome.
All right. He smiles, polishes up a little bit, thinks for a moment. I'll have to find a way to keep this license safe, get a valuation for it. Thank you for your business, good sir. Let you on your way.
Millman, I hope you're planning on stealing that back, because I'm pretty sure Greg said it was worth like 10 times that much.
Yeah, I know. I thought about it. I'm not gonna like go on my whole stealing everything. I'm holding back my kleptomancy. All right, I'm holding it right back.
He's holding it back.
I'm used to stealing everything that's not nailed down, stealing the nails, then stealing everything that was nailed down. So let's just keep the hands in the pockets. I'm rolling with seekers. They may punish me.
All right, so the rest of you, are any other preparations you want to make before sailing off on the Zephyr's Wind?
Thoughts with the party? Should I buy some healing potions so I don't have to zap all of your spells?
And we have 2 clerics right now, so probably fine. Or a cleric.
One
2 clerics?
One cleric.
What? What did you just... Excuse me.
She's like, excuse me.
I'm sorry. It's my 2E.
That's cool. That saves the nice pool of gold I'm lugging around.
All right. So, the 5 of you make off with the fishing village here. You get on the Zephyr's Wind. It is a large boat, very wide and thin. It has 3 large sails on top of it, and a very, very interesting figurehead. Kind of a half genie looking man shape, like pointing forward across the brow of the ship. Large, like kind of lightning bolts streak back from him and are painted along the sides of the wide ship. It is manned by 20 or 30 or so rough and tumble looking men and women, all of them deeply, darkly tanned from years out in the sun, weathered and wrinkled lines across their skin. Many of them wear very little in terms of like heavy clothing, instead bare backs, even in the winter months here, as it is quite cold. They strap into oars below deck and begin to push across the Moonflow River deep into the water. The days are long and tiring. The river itself is indeed quite slow moving, although it is, as its name suggests, quite a look to, or quite an interesting vision to look across. The river is as wide as you can see on either side. Occasionally, as you near cities and towns, as they flow past, large, mammoth-sized beasts are ferrying people across to one side or the other. The boat zips on past. The river is filled with colorful fauna, these large kind of lily pads with blues and reds and golds and silvers kind of fill the waters as they trickle on slowly by. As you look down into the depths of the river, it is clear and almost translucent as you can see all these colorful fauna growing up through it. You can see ruins beneath of the rivers time to time, from cities long past and from the wreckages of ships and traders that have come across it, including bones and different animals down there as well. As nights come, the boat is kind of a twitter with the concern that the fires aren't lighting correctly. As you sail along across the river on your first night, they try to light large torches high above on the masts and along the edge of the ship so that they could light both their way as they sail and also, they say, to keep away the beasts of the forest. You are not really relied upon to do any of the manual labor. You are free to go about your days doing what you will. But on the first night of your journey, you can tell that it's not working as well as they want it to be. The sailors spark their flint and tinder multiple times. There's grumblings and whispers that the fires aren't quite working properly, and there's concern brewing amongst the ship. However, on the first night, the torches do light, and the sailing is allowed to continue, making great time up the river, better than perhaps even the captain of the ship is prepared for. After that night comes and goes, she assures you that there will be at least 2 more like it before you reach your destination. So, while you're on the ship, what does life look like for the 5 of you? What do you do during your 3-day journey with the Zephyr's Wind?
I think for Hugh, it'll be practicing sword fighting with Esteban twice a day. And probably hanging out with Rose and Janla now and then, occasionally checking in on Gorik to make sure he's not become like a mad wizard with his Philosopher's Stone now. And I think, yeah, that and Jagger. I don't know what Jagger does. I think he's always broody, as all his characters
Jagger's
are.
gone.
Oh, I've been away for so long.
We have quads now.
Yeah, Jagger skipped out last session. So the kid that we were talking about, the one who showed up, that's Quartz.
Okay, well, I'd probably get to hang out with Quartz to get to know Quartz because
Awesome.
I haven't been here.
Hugh and Quartz bond on the ship on their way to the spire. Excellent.
Rose is spending her time teaching Ray how to give a proper handshake.
Okay. Yes.
Because this is really important, right? Like, if you grow up, you got to learn how to give a proper handshake, and her book says that obviously the right amount of pressure is crucial to this, right? Because if you press too hard, people are going to be intimidated. If you don't press hard enough, then people will think you're a wimp, so you got to figure it out. you also got to make sure that your hands stay dry, because if they're wet, that's also not very good. So it's kind of a complicated thing, and it takes at least 3 days to figure out how to do it right.
So, Rose, you sit with your awakened bonsai tree, and it is attempting to shake your hand and following all your advice, but there's something about not having opposable thumbs or fingers or a palm or really a hand at all. It's struggling very mightily and growing frustrated as you're trying to teach it to shake. He's like, "Oh, pine needles!" Like it's very frustrated, but it will persevere on, trying to please you and learn how to shake hands properly.
I think it's amazing that you have a tree that sounds like a gnome.
Bonsai, right? I think we said he's a bonsai.
Yes.
Janlar will spend the time on the ship reading his Book of Alchemy. Probably happy to not have to do any manual labor traveling.
Alrighty. So you've been reading your book for 2 or 3 days now. You're getting a handle on most of the technical jargon in it. You come across basically the sections of the Philosopher's Stone itself. And between you and Goric, with his attunement to it and his natural understanding of it, and your scientific study and papers on it that you are reading, you guys believe that you can find the almost exact nature of how to implement and use this Philosopher's Stone. You are reading through its many effects, and Goric is telling you what he's feeling from the stone as you work from it. And you are pretty certain that between the two of you, should you need to make it happen, you can access almost every element of the stone itself. The one thing that you are uncertain about is one that might interest Goric. The destruction of the stone seems to elude both of your research and Mike's feel for it, along with empowering the stone further. Both of these things seem to be mysteries yet to be solved. However, the rest of its powers seem laid bare and open to you.
Getting so many Full Metal Alchemist vibes, and you're going to be stealing people's souls in no time.
Excellent. Another night passes. Another 2 nights pass. As we are sailing up the river and these nights
Goric
pass...
would make a super badass villain with that stone, like, sitting there like, death is natural, and just taking their souls, like...
Very, very Georg of you.
Very Georg. So, the 5 of you, I want each of you to roll a d10 for me as you have sailing through this river along the Moonflow. 1, an 8, and an 8.
High 5 on the 8s club, and of course Janlar.
A 10 for Janlar. I guess I will roll for Goric, since he is in a car and not at the table to roll.
Please don't roll.
Goric rolls a 4. Excellent. So, the grand winner...
I tried to get Google to roll a d10 for me, but it didn't want to.
It didn't want to? Okay, well,
I
I took care of it for you, Mike. So, the grand winner in this is Janlar. Janlar, you are visited in the evening of the second day by another dream. This one is more horrifying, I think, than your previous encounters with the rest of the group. The lady inside the sphere is still there, but you can smell the burning of her flesh. Her screams are real and terrifying. And after it leaves you, you see something else. You see bands of silver reaching out and grasping towards you. You see the laughing face of this wizard who has previously tried to hunt you down. He dissolves from that laughing face into 1,000 flying eyes that span out across the world. You get a feeling of being watched and of fear as these eyes are around you in your daily life. You hear a flashback to a forgotten time when a hobo screams out, "The eyes!" And as you awake, I want you to make a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom?
Yes.
Oh boy.
I believe in you, buddy. You got this.
Sure, I'm not. I'm proficient in wisdom, so I have a plus. Ooh,
A 10.
Failed it.
You fail it. On this night, you are denied a restful sleep.
Okay.
You gain 1 level of exhaustion. As
Do you have any idea what that means in 5e?
Sure, absolutely. I will
It's
look
disadvantage on ability checks.
I think that's
Oh, yeah,
all
is
it
that on
is
the?
at level
Oh, yeah,
1.
that's on the. Oh, I remember that. Never
Yeah,
mind.
it's
I
in
know
the
where that's
back.
at.
So I will read you exactly what it is. It is disadvantage on ability checks, and that is all.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm gonna grab my book real
So
quick.
you are denied the restfulness of sleep as the nightmare gripped you thoroughly, and it was difficult for you to shake. That next day passes again, uneventfully. But as you're approaching the third,
I would definitely
Okay.
tell them about it when I wake up. I would wake up in like a sweat probably,
Mhm.
and I'd probably look really haggard the next morning. But I'd bring it up to them that the wizard from the Silver Lord is still chasing us, and I can feel him watching us through my dreams.
I won't lie. That sounds extremely creepy. And
I'm like
We
sweating
have-
still, like probably
yeah,
looking ugly.
here's a cloth. Like, wipe yourself down. Come
I
on.
appreciate it. Thank you. Try to clean myself up. And what should we do? This far away from civilization, I feel like he might attack us.
Well, wouldn't that be a good thing? Because then we can fight him and then problem solved.
I don't know if we can kill this guy. Last time he cast very powerful magic against us.
But you're a powerful scholar, are you not? Professor Chandler?
I'm scared.
Okay, that's concerning.
Do you guys think the burning lady is Bridges herself?
That's really morbid. Never thought about it.
What do you mean morbid?
Isn't she
goddess.
supposed to be burning?
Yeah, but if it's like her not, I mean, Tom did die, so like,
I suspect this burning woman could be the woman we saw. Is it actually? We saw her face. Is it the same lady that was on the throne whose heart we burned?
No, it does
Different
not
woman.
appear to be the same woman.
Do we?
Okay,
Does
well,
anybody
Gorik doesn't
recognize
say
her from
that, then.
anything?
I'm sorry, Dan. I couldn't hear you over mic.
For sure.
What was your question?
Do I recognize her face from anything? I've had this dream now a few times.
It is the same woman every time. I would like for you to make me a religion saving throw if you would like to try to recognize her, or a skill
You have
check. I
disadvantage
guess.
on because you are exhausted.
Correct.
Oh, damn.
Would also be Susie from primary school.
damn, poor Susie.
So 15.
Pretty
A
good.
15. You do recognize her emblem, her face from the emblem that Tom wore about his neck. This is a stunning recreation of exactly that woman, of Bridges, captured in the burning sun, from his religious symbol.
I think you're right, Rose. I think it might be Bridges.
Shouldn't we go help her then?
Help a goddess.
I was gonna say, how
Yeah.
does one help a goddess?
Well, she's
You tell
trapped,
me
right?
the way, and we'll do it.
She's trapped, right?
It appears so.
So let's go untrap her.
Oh, we have no idea where she is.
Where does it look like in your dream?
I don't know. It kind of starts where she's trapped.
Right. What's it like?
I don't know what's it like, Greg.
It is deep. It is deep in a forest. Clearly, it is dark. She's in a clearing with kind of like a ring of circles around her. Ring of trees circled around her. The underbrush and grasses that you can see in the distance behind the trees are either burned away or missing in the ring next to this sphere of blue fire that encircles her. But beyond that, there's very little to give you a hint as to which forest or which woods this might be in.
So if it's somewhere nearby, it's probably either the Elvendar or the Gloomwood.
Yeah, if it's on this plane, it's probably one of those two forests, but there are many more forests, even on our plane.
How creepy does it look? Well, because the Elvendar is where the elves live. It's not that creepy.
Do the trees that I see in the dreams look similar to the trees in the area that I'm in right now? Do they look like?
You look
They've all
across.
got like twisted screaming faces and everything.
No, the trees look normal, right? Big, large, hefty trees. They're no small wood, probably, or if they are, they're very lost and forgotten wood. The trunks are as wide as a man around. They grow high and tall into the air, casting a dark, kind of gloomy shadow across the plane, except for the light of this burning blue sphere of fire inside of it.
Sorry, the trees in the dream looked totally normal?
Yep.
Okay.
So it might be here. It might be down further south. And
It's funny because in Don't Starve, the totally normal tree is the spooky tree. That's what it's called. It's called a totally normal tree.
Rose, do the trees in the Gloomwood look similar to the trees here?
Some of them. I mean, trees look very different to me than they look to you, you know? Trees look very individual to me.
That's fair.
Well, a similar race of tree, or kind. I don't know how to tell trees apart. I'm sorry. Human lives on the
I
ocean.
mean, there's always the possibility that there's one grove that looks different from other trees, you know?
How great would it be if it's like the burning lady isn't Susie from primary school, but Rose is like, wait, I know that tree in the background. That's Persephone. She lives.
Right around the corner, yep. So listen, I understand your concern, okay? I understand it. I get it. But we have no means to fight the Silver Lord if he really has captured a goddess. No means to oppose him whatsoever.
So shouldn't we save her then?
We can't save her the way we are right now. We are currently traveling into the Elvendar to gain more information, to get Algernon back, and go to a tower that's very powerful with knowledge. Okay? If we manage to unlock this power, maybe we're powerful enough to actually oppose the Silver Lord. But right now, we can't just walk into danger without anything. Like, we're not, you know, we don't have anything right now. Yes, maybe Gorik can figure out the Philosopher's Stone in time. Maybe we can unlock its full potential or something. But right now, what do we have?
Sandbars vibrating at your hip.
I gently pat him. I'm like, it's okay. I don't mean you. It's later. We'll talk later. Listen, my friend is trapped somewhere in a tower, and that's a very real situation. There's no speculation about that. It's not a dream, it's not a vision, it's not hypothetical, and it is definitely in a place that exists somewhere where we're traveling to.
Well, Greg, earlier in the campaign, when we went by the Gloomwood, didn't we all have, or no, Tom specifically had a dream about like a lady who was like calling out to him for help, didn't
Yep.
he?
Yes.
Yep.
Did he talk to us about that at all?
Yeah,
Yes,
because
he
we had a
did, and
long
he
discussion
wanted
about
to
going
go.
in there. Yeah.
Okay.
And Rose did not want to go.
Do we think that was his dream similar to the one that we're all having now, or was
Yeah,
it a
yeah.
different
No, it
dream?
was basically the same as what he described.
Okay, so we know she's.
So it seems likely that that might be the Gloomwood then, if he was being called towards the Gloomwood when we walked past him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right.
We've already come this far north, so we should probably just finish with the Scrivener's Tower first, right?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I was just remembering that and thinking, wait, didn't we already know something about this?
All right. And so, with the discussion settled, and Rose pointing you back on your path to the Scrivener's Tower, the day kind of goes uneventfully until the sun begins to set down on the third night. You can see the Elvendar in the distance as the sun sets, a great, gigantic wood, its shadow high and thick on the horizon, but you're still some time away from it. As the suns begin to set and they begin to go around lighting the fires along the sides of the ship and high upon the arches, the fires will not light. They cannot get the fires to start, and soon the worry that had spread through the crew on the first night comes again, though this time they seem to be unable to light them at all. The captain of the ship worriedly thinks for a moment and comes to you and says, I hate to do this, but we're going to have to make land for the night. You don't want to be on the moon flow without the fires and the light. I don't know what the problem is, but no one on the ship seems to be able to light a fire right now.
Janlar, can you use magic? Like
Yeah, I was
firebolts or
gonna say
something?
I'm gonna try using prestidigitation because I can start fires as big as campfires using that as a
Alrighty.
cantrip.
Please give me a Arcana check at disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Okay. So I have that, and it's my thing. Crap. Is it intelligence based?
Arcana is intelligence based. Yes.
Okay.
You're a sorcerer, right? If
Yeah.
you would like to substitute your casting modifier, so I believe which
Sure.
is charisma, I
Yeah.
would allow that.
Okay. There we go. 22.
A 22. You prestidigitate and whirl your fingers together, and your first attempt immediately just shudders off. It confuses you. Perhaps you blink for a moment. You wiggle your hands again, try again, focus all of your arcane energy, your learnings as a sorcerer, into your fingertips, and sure enough, a small campfire is lit on one of the torches along the edge of the ship. Kind of, I call them torches, but they're large enough to give a good spread of light
Right.
off on the outside. The sailors kind of cheer, and you see a lot of them begin to creep their way towards the fire and the light that you've given. But it crackles and persists, but is weaker than you anticipated it being.
We're going to get
Something's-
pulled over for having a headlight out now.
Something's blocking it. Okay, so I'm gonna try it again, and I want to see if I can pinpoint what's like stopping the spell. If it's like a big field around it that's like smothering the spell, or if there's some sort of like thread coming from somewhere else, like a lightning bolt trying to stop it.
You
Yeah, can I
try.
cast detect magic to try to help him do this?
Sure, you can cast detect magic if you'd like. With your Arcana check of a 22, you.
Oh, Goric will point out, but Jess is the god of fire, is she not? Perhaps we are experiencing complications with her domain, given what we are seeing in our visions.
It's very likely.
With your Arcana check of a 22, and the words of Goric ringing in your head, you come to realize that you don't feel a field or an outside force smothering your magic. You don't feel like something coming down and stopping it from existing. It's as if you are trying to draw from a well that is low, as if there's not as much magic there to do what you wanted it to do. Where before it came easily and sprung forth from your body and your soul. That little bit of magic, that the fire magic, is just, it's weak, it's low. You have to pull extra hard to get it to come out.
This seems bad. Maybe Burgess really is captured.
Captain kind of looks at you as you're puzzling through this. He's like, so, can we trust that? Is it going to stay? Can you do it again?
I can only hold about 3 of them at a time, and I don't know how long it's going to last. There's nothing stopping the fire. It's just that there's nothing for the fire to burn.
Say you can hold 3 of them, yes? She points to like the front of the ship where the head of the Zephyr kind of glows. She says, light that. And she points up to the mast at the top. Light that and hold them. That'll get us...
I think it might be best if we stop for the night. The problem isn't that something's smothering the fire, it's that there's not much fire left.
She nods her head in agreement.
It's going to become a precious resource.
She nods her head in agreement. She says, I agree. I don't want to push too far deep on the moonflow. But if you light these, then we should be able to make town not too far from here. I know of a small village right before the Elvendar on the far side away from the Sea of Grass. We should be able to stop there for the night.
Janlard, do you have the light cantrip? Can you cast light?
No, we had a fire cleric, and
we had a Tom for that.
And we had a magic orb that casts light for us. We didn't.
Yep, we had a lot of cool light stuff, and now we don't.
I don't think Gorak has light, but I'll look at his sheet. I just got home.
Oh, nice.
I got a candle.
Through mundane means, you try to light the candle and find it to be very difficult to do. In fact, on this night, it seems to not be working at all.
Panic's probably setting in elsewhere in the world, but can I try to cast Firebolt? See if it's affected at all?
Yes. Please give me an Arcana check at disadvantage. The 21, you...
Disadvantage 17.
17, sorry, my brain. Yes, 17. You still manage to cast your Firebolt. It is very similar to the experience that Quartz has with his Prestidigitation. It comes to you very slowly. You have to draw extra hard upon the magics that otherwise come very easily to you. And eventually, though, you build enough fire in your hands, and you're able to cast a firebolt over the side of the ship across the moonflow.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think we should make landfall for the night.
Okay. Captain, take us to the shore.
She nods. She leads Quartz to where she wants the fires created. And after some trial and error, you're able to light the front of the ship and give enough light. You push kind of deeper into the night than you were originally anticipating, I think. Or farther past sunset than originally anticipated. But eventually you come to a kind of a darker city. Usually when you have passed towns and cities across the moonflow, they've been brightly lit, lots of fires and torches. And in this one, there's not much in the way of lighting at all. The Zephyr's wind makes dock right next to the city itself. There are some very worried-looking people who are glancing at the sunset as they help tie the ship to the docks and begun offloading the patronage. The captain, you can see, is shouting orders to her crew, telling them where they go, making a quick purchase of rooms for the night. She kind of looks to the 5 of you, and you can see her considering, and then she counts out a few more coins to the dockhands, kind of waves you forward, says, "It seems we've made an unexpected stop. I've purchased some room at the inns for you tonight. I suggest that you get there quickly. Hopefully we can get some light around here." And she, with that simple warning, begins herding her crew and some special cargo off towards the inn, kind of leaving you to go about your business on the dockhands, seeing some very nervous dock workers looking at the sunset and back to their village. Or I guess this is a small city.
How
let's get to our.
are there any are there roads entering into the city? Or
yes, you could see like a small road leading kind of southwesterly. You're on the western side of the river here. If we look at the Elvendar here, you're kind of in this area off to the western side of the Moonflow River, just short of the forest proper. There's a kind of larger city here, though it is nothing compared to the likes of Sarmanath or Hawks Hollow or Balesport that you've been. But you do recognize it to be larger than the Willard's Mill and Waysides of the Sea of Grass on the other side. There's a small kind of weathered road that leads southwest. Calling it a road is probably something that is disrespectful to the old road that you follow along the old paths. This is more a trail or a path leading somewhere else.
And I'm assuming there's no entrance to town from the north side.
From the forest itself, no.
Okay. Okay then.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, I can't rejoin the meeting on my computer because you booted me.
Oh, weird.
We can figure it out at break if you want.
Okay, here, let me try this real quick. Where are you? Oh, there you are. There's you individually. Try hitting that.
For like going back to the inn, I'm going to agree with the captain here and say we should probably get indoors. Maybe
All right.
get, our particular area lit and then just stay there until morning.
You make your way into the town proper. There are a lot of worried civilians kind of eyeing you about. There are large kind of I won't call them torches, but I guess braziers around town that you think are traditionally lit. There are plenty of men and women trying to get them alight and not making it so. There are guards around town that are handing out bags of salt and dishes of water, saying, make sure that if the lights aren't able to be lit, that you guard yourselves as well as you can. Line of salt along the entrances and doors. Let's leave something sweet for the visitors if we can.
When I hear the word visitors, I'm gonna ask him what he means by that.
He looks to you, kind of smiles, says, we have people from farther south. Says, you're out in the Feywilds, young sir. Out here, the creatures are everyday part of our life. You keep the fires lit and you keep an offering out. You usually only get a good visitor or two, but especially in the winter months when the influence of core is at its highest, the fires keep away some of the more, we'll say, less inviting, or more evil, we'll say, fey creatures of the woods. I'm sure we'll get them lit. You have purchased room at the inn. Here.
You probably won't, but good luck.
He looks to you and kind of says, I would appreciate you keeping that sentiment to yourself. It's hard enough keeping everyone under control as it is. But he hands you...
You could use more salt, though. That might help.
Do not worry about him, good sir. Be reassured, as long as me and my companions are in town, you have nothing to worry about.
Oh? And why is
Oh,
that?
you just signed Doom. Oh my god.
I am Janlar, the powerful wizard.
Janlar. Well, there are many Janlars named these days. A powerful wizard, you say? Excellent. Well, perhaps you could be of some use after all. He kind of points around. He says, to the center of town, where the market is our central brazier. You might be able to find the mayor there. You could perhaps speak to him if you wish to help the situation. Otherwise, he kind of thrusts a bag of salt in Quartz's chest. Use this, keep the boy safe. And then he moves on, kind of banging on doors and reassuring people along his passage.
Quartz makes a ring of salt around the brim of his hat.
Which immediately gets like wet, and
Yeah,
you
it's,
start
like,
getting
soggy
salt
and starts
water
dripping.
drips. Yeah.
Gets in his eyes and shit.
Oh.
I guess it's not a hat. Yeah, do we wanna help protect this town, or do we just wanna?
For the night.
If you want to try help lighting the central brazier, I'll go with you. Because if your shit don't go working and we get attacked by monsters, I'm right here. Got Esteban.
We might not want to light it. There's not much fire left.
I agree. I don't know if we should light it. I was more thinking about setting up a few alarm spells in town
That might be better.
in case anything comes a-lurking, but I don't know where to set them up.
Maybe talk to the captain of the guard at the center brazier, because I'm assuming that's where he would be. / she.
Okay, yeah. So I guess I'll go to the center brazier then and talk to it.
All right. You make your way there. You find yourself a crowd of people who are concerned about the coming night, though their widespread panic really hasn't set in. There are some who seem to have been trying to light the fires and have since given up. A very, very grumpy-looking dwarven woman is pulling on her long kind of ponytail that is nicely braided and is barking orders at people about at the soldiers and the town's guard about getting this crowd under control and moving along and getting people indoors. It's time that we give up on the fires and etc. 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 Barking orders. Slowly, it seems like control is coming to the town proper, but it's still a work in progress.
Oh, she seems nice. We should talk to her.
Yeah, I'll approach the surly lady.
She kind of looks the five of you over and sighs, rubs her face for a moment, and goes, exactly what I needed. Foreigners? I'm sorry, do you have...
I'm from the Elvendar, actually.
Oh, are you? Excellent. Well, then you would know to keep your friends inside, yes? Yes? Good, good. Follow your boy, right? He should be able to take care of you.
I'm here to help.
You're here to help, you say?
My name is Janlar. I'm a very powerful wizard. I will not be able to
He's a
start your fire.
professor.
Well, you're a
However-
powerful wizard. You can't start the fire. What do you propose to do, huh?
In case of visitors, I would like to set up a few alarm spells so that I know when and where to help protect the town. Where, in your humble opinion, do you think I should set up my alarm spells?
It's been some time since we've had visitors of a more fiendish sort. She kind of rubs her chin, thinks for a moment, and she says, there's a hill outside of town here, towards the Elvendar to the northwest. There, in the summertime, grows a ring of mushrooms, a fairy circle of some kind. I am certain that it has some connection to the Feywild and the Fairy Plain. Should we have unsavory creatures, I'm sure that they would probably find their way there before coming to town. It's not far, only about a half-mile or so, but if we had alarms set up there, then I am pretty certain we would get forewarning before they were in town and wreaking havoc. Should the five of you wish to set up some alarms around there, perhaps south along the waterfront, in case something decides to crawl out of the Moonflow. It's a deep and wide river. Maybe they would leave us well enough alone, but you couldn't be too hurtful. Those would be the two places I think most important, yes?
Thank you. And I'll leave her alone.
Good luck. And she turns around and begins getting everybody in town to their homes and ready for the night.
I look at the party. I don't really want to travel outside of town this late at night.
I'll go with you.
But you just said you would.
You probably should. The further out you go, the more forewarning there is.
You know, mushroom circles are pretty powerful, though.
Well, if you guys think I should, then let's go.
All right.
I'm right there with you.
You begin making your way out of town proper. As
I'm gonna cast Mage Armor on myself, actually.
Absolutely. You cast Mage Armor on yourself, preparing for what may come. The sunset, it begins to dip low and deep across the night sky. The purples and oranges are beginning to fade as darkness kind of settles around you in the gloomy evening. Sure enough, a half-mile walk through the wildlands outside of town proper, you see the kind of crest of a hill rising above you. There's a scattering of woods and stones and bushes as you're making your way towards the Elvendar, and the light of the sky begins sinking deeper and deeper. You think you only have probably a half hour or so until the full night comes as you approach this hill.
Okay.
Greg, I have a question.
Yes.
The spell Magic Circle.
Yes.
I can create a 10-foot radius, 20-foot tall cylinder of magical energy centered on a point that I can see. For 1 hour, I can pick a type of creature that cannot enter the circle. Is it possible? It's got a 1 minute casting time. Is it possible to like set the circle all up and get it ready, and then basically like wait to activate it until a certain point, or do I need to like cast it and then it'll just last for 1 hour?
I think that it's just something you cast and it lasts for 1 hour.
Right.
I would have to.
That's like the intention. I was asking you if there would be a way that I could like basically set it up and just not like arm it pretty much, and then like if we get woken up in the middle of the night, be like, oh, I need like an action to.
I think I think that's something we can definitely roll for, right? Like, there could be like an Arcana or a Religion or something check to see if we can arm it like that.
Okay.
I think that's reasonable. The rest of you those of you who are all out here, all of my players, find yourselves on this large hill. The night is growing dark, and the pressure of the words of setting alarms is on your mind as you arrive kind of from the south. Let me get all of you kind of on here, I guess. What do you do as you arrive at the hills?
Is this the hill he was talking about? Where
I am showing it to you now, yes. Do I have quartz?
I don't think you made a token for me.
Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna be Tom then, but you're actually
that's fine.
close.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll use the Jagar token for now.
Oh, or you're gonna be Jagar, because we never updated your...
Yeah, it's all good. We can do that
Okay.
when we get a chance. Just put it down as quartz, and then...
Coming up to this area, I want to grab the jar of aniseed that I have and just dump the little baggie of sugar they gave me into it and like shake it up. I'm like, okay, here's the get out of jail free card. Feed the Fae.
Feed the Fae.
It would smell amazing. Add some water, boil that bitch for a little bit.
Well, not seeing anything, I'm just gonna start walking up toward the center of the hill.
Okay.
And I was gonna set up an alarm in the center of the magical circle.
Okay. So, Mike, talk to me about this magical circle that you're talking about making. How big is it, and where do you want to put it?
Well, I was thinking if we like rested for the night or something, and we were worried about being attacked by Fae, that I might basically set it kind of similar to an alarm spell.
Okay.
But because it only lasts for an hour, it's not really useful.
Oh, okay.
You know. So I was thinking like basically set it up and have it ready to activate, and then if need be, just blow it when we get attacked.
So you don't really want to set it here. You were thinking about later.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So you begin casting an alarm spell in the center of this hill, like up here.
Yeah.
Okay. You walk forward and begin casting an alarm spell. It has about a 20-foot diameter, right in the center of the hill. As you look around, you don't see any of the mushroom circles that the kind of governor talked about. But she said they came in the middle of the day. This is the kind of only hill you saw in this area. You followed a little path to it. You're pretty certain you had it right. As you finish your alarm spell, you're pretty certain that you have done what you need to do. But the last of the light has faded out from the setting sky, leaving you in the darkness of night. You finish your alarm spell and are getting ready to leave when you feel a bit of a rumble upon the ground. And the area around you begins to brighten. You're not certain to why exactly. Coming from somewhere above you to the north, there's light spilling forward.
Can I roll a stealth and then move forward?
Okay.
Have a look.
All right, you can go have a look. Where are you going?
Towards the light. And I think I'm stealthy.
All right, you roll a 10 and you begin making your way forward.
Yep, I move up to these rocks. I think I might step on the rocks and just have a look. Because it's coming to the crest of the hill.
Okay, as you look and come to the crest of the hill, you step up those rocks and look as far as you can look to the northeast where the light is coming from. And you are met with a sight as coming from the Elvendar and towards this hill, exactly towards you, is a bright and shiny horse of fire and brimstone, shedding a light around it. As you look around, you also see small figures dancing between the shadows cast by the bright light of this horse. As you look up at it, you lock eyes with this horse. They are wide and black with red fire in the center of them, and a whinny echoes across the night sky towards you. But
you hear Hugo, oh fuck.
unlike my humorous rendition, it is somehow ethereal and creepy, and it wriggles into your mind, and you know that whatever is coming for you is ill intent upon its mind, and it sees you. And I believe right there is where we will take our break for the day, and we will come see what happens on the other side.
I hate cliffhangers.